Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on chess.com and going to give the computer a try. This is a 15-2 game. So let's see what we get. Well, it's already going to be pretty different. I don't see b3 too often by the computer. Alright, let's place a pawn in the center. My idea is just to get this guy outside the pawn chain, or not. That's the big question. I could go more reserved with e6, bishop e7. But I like deploying the bishop, so I'm going to go with that. And then e6. They take on f6? No. One thing I don't have to worry about is with the pawn on b3, sometimes there's the drawback with the bishop playing to f5. In that queen b3 could hit you where you're sensitive on b7. So this is typical computer chess, obstructing the c-pawn, so I don't have to worry about a c-pawn strike at my center. I wonder a little bit about h6, just preserving my bishop against knight h4. Yeah, I think it's time well spent to maintain my bishop. Although I would regard him as my expendable bishop of the two. He's more important, the dark square bishop. I didn't consider this move. Would bishop here be a problem? Could always play knight here. Give the knight a kick, it plays into d4. Oh, I should also be aware that bishop takes knight is a threat. I can't recapture with my queen because of knight takes c7. So currently my queen is, let's say, overloaded, having to watch over c7 and the knight. Probably bishop e7. On bishop e5 I have knight a6, and then I could kick the knight one move later. Wow. I'm surprised at how tricky this already is. I was just seeing bishop e7, bishop e5, knight a6, knight d4, hitting the bishop and my knight here. And if I run away with him, then there's bishop takes knight, followed by knight to c6. Wow. Okay, so what could I do? I mean, I could think about c6, actually. Well, I could actually think about, let's say, a6, bishop takes knight and taking with the pawn. Or what about knight d7? Isn't that much simpler? Knight d7 stops bishop e5, connects the knights. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Okay. Let's see. Really? I am certainly happy with that. Okay, I don't, Oh. Okay, I see. Alright, well, very interesting early on, less than 10 moves in, and there's already tricks with bishop b5 push and then sacrifices 2 pawns for the rook idea. Huh. Yeah, okay, so if I back up, bishop check, if I block with the knight, knight e5 hits, so bishop back, bishop check, c6, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. I'd have to play king e7. I don't like that idea. Huh. I'd much rather go in for this variation where they get the two pawns and the rook for the 2 minor pieces, where my bishop is already deployed. I think I might go for that. Let me consider this once more. Let's say bishop all the way back. On g6, it's still vulnerable to knight here, so bishop h7, bishop check, c6, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. King here. That doesn't feel good at all. The alternative is to allow the doubling of the f-pawns. I'm not quite sure what I should do here. Yeah, I don't think it's a wise decision to enter these complications where they give up the two minor pieces for the two pawns and the rook, and my king is on e7, obstructing my kingside development. That said, where should I go with my dark square bishop? I think d6 is a good spot. Let's go to d6. No, they're going for this. Okay, well, I think it's under much more favorable circumstances. Okay, they are going to go for this material. It's a quite common thing to see by the computer. So they're going to sack the two minor pieces, get two pawns and a rook. Yeah, let's try this imbalance. I'm much happier about playing king here in this case because my bishop is already developed. So king up here. And let's see how they work against these two bishops. No in-betweeners, so let's do this. All right, so quite an interesting position already. And what to do with my light square bishop? I want to just back up, play rook to c8 and castle by hand. Bishop here provokes c6. Maybe not a bad idea, because this does create some weaknesses. So maybe bishop here, f3, and then bishop back. I really don't see anything too wrong with that. Let's do this. Try and provoke some weaknesses. Okay. Think you kick me around once more? No. Trying to hunt down the dark square bishop. Okay, I don't know if I want to give that up so quickly. Bishop c5, knight c7 really isn't so much a bother. Could play here, but then d4 on the other hand is probably something useful, unlike f3. So I don't know if I want to run into this tempo gaining move. Well, actually, what more am I going to do? How do I preserve my dark square bishop? If I play bishop b8, queen c1 probably happens. I could always just get my rook here. I don't want to. I don't want to what? I don't want to be so quick to give up my dark square bishop. He's really good. Could play queen c6, knight takes pawn, the knight gets trapped with queen c5. Maybe I have to do that. Yeah, I'm just very fearful of bishop, let's say bishop b8, queen c1, queen a3 with check, and the knight jumping in here. Let me just consider this. Bishop b8, queen c1. Yeah, I mean, in the end, I'd have to give up my bishop. I think the knight would be intolerable here. I don't have time to get my rook here, and let's say knight to e8 offsetting this knight. Bishop here. Yeah. Yeah, I think I have to maybe do this. So they're going to scoop that guy up, take with the queen. And that move, huh? Wow. Now this square right here is immediately sticking out to me. I could clamp down on this structure. I think I quite like this move here. Surprising. Let's see that. I could also go for queen check, but maybe here first. Yeah, let's do this move first. This is a very surprising move, d3. Okay. So I could give a check. Or no. That's probably shouldn't be so quick for that. I'm gonna throw my rook right into c3. My bishop is not playing. This structure is really killing my light square bishop. Rook c8, pretty natural. e5 is another one to consider. I'd really like to get my knight here, because where there are these extra pawns where white has a majority, it makes it difficult to really put them to use. I should probably start with rook here. Half open file. Keep pressure on c. And maybe tuck my king away. e5, f4 is not working. Have to be mindful of e5, f4, takes, push with the fork, and queen takes, rook here stuff. e5, a knight move, and then f6. Or just reposition my knight. Maybe I could do without e5. Yeah, let's reposition my knight. I don't think he has a purpose on f6. I feel like I have good control over this position. I have said something like that before. Maybe a queen trade is not a bad idea here. Again, I like the control I have over the queen side. How do they get active with their rooks? They'd have to move the b and a pawns. But he's a tremendous thorn. Maybe... Could reposition, try and get in here. If I could somehow get my knight here, that would be fantastic. g5. Clamp down on f4? No, that'll still happen. Maybe f4 is the way they're going. Maybe I should offer a queen exchange. Let me try this. Queen c5, queen here. I'm hitting c2. Okay. This is probably poison pawn. Even if I win it, they get activity, so let's not go pawn hunting. How can I get my knight to a better square? I think queen here, the queen trade will be avoided. I'm gonna still try it though. There, huh? Okay. Let's just go here. He needs to do something different. Okay. My bishop is kind of struggling here. Not sure how to get him working. If I play f6, f5 is going to hit. Or even queen g3. Wow. Okay. What about f6, queen g3? I don't know. I'm going to back up. I want to meet maybe a pawn push with an advance. And also there's this idea in mind. f5 here, and then f6. Okay, I got to keep it closed. Playing with the minor pieces. This might not be bad. Are they going to play f6? They're playing f6. They are playing f6. Okay. Let's hang on here though. Take with the pawn. Take with the knight, I drop e5. He's unprotected, so a move like queen here is going to happen. Pawn takes queen a3. King e7, queen takes pawn, bishop here. I gotta try this. Yeah, king here. And then bishop here. I think my position's alright. I want the queens off. Oh. Man. Oh, I'm busted. My bishop is a goner. I think I might need to sack my bishop. Wow. Out of nowhere, huh? Ah, man. h5. This was a bad idea. Queen to c3. I wonder what would have been a better plan. Let's see if I could still try and put up some resistance. There's really no way to save this bishop, is there? Because knight here, h5, he has to defend this square. Yeah, my queen is so out of play. She looks good. She's in a hole, but this is gone. I guess I'll try something like this. Huh. Maybe not too fast. Just ready to pile up on the f-pawn. Okay, I need some defense. What are they doing? Are they going to go after that bishop? Okay, finally they got the bishop. Queen here, just be active. Let's see. Rook's there to defend. If I could reposition my knight. Now the queen's going elsewhere, huh? Can I hold on for a draw somehow? If I could get my knight here, it would be worth the rook. Maybe more. Knight here, there's queen check. If I try to run away, get my king to g7. Yeah, let's try it. I'm gonna lose that pawn. But maybe they can miscalculate here. Look at how fast they are. Interesting. What would you do on rook h6 and then queen h4 idea? Let's try that. Whoa! Feels like I should have something here, no? Queen here? Oh, I think I have a perpetual, actually. Rook h3, and then I could take here. Their queen is not playing. I should have something. Let's try this. And then queen back, maybe? I think I have a perpetual, at least. Because their queen is out of play. No, I do not have a perpetual. That was a poison pawn. I think I have to do this. They could have a perpetual. I gotta come over here, though. Yeah, this might be perpetual. Their queen is offside. Bank some time. Yeah, I think I just have to go back and forth. Okay, how do I make a perpetual? Take here. Give a check. I should have something. It should be perpetual, right? Just don't allow the rook to block. Okay, I think I know how to hold this to a draw. I don't think I have anything better. And we're going to have a repetition. A very unexpected. Wow. Huh. I really started to doubt myself, I must say, and I know you hear it in my voice, but right around here where I lost the bishop, I mean, I was really close to just hitting that resign button. But, I mean, and you look at these guys over here. I was able to threaten to get this knight in here. I wonder if I missed some win, actually. When this white queen went astray and I got my knight right around here after g3, I would not be surprised if there was something I could do here. I cannot move my knight into f4 just yet because it's a pin here. But, yeah, this was quite an interesting game. Starting with b3 and going in for this imbalance. I'll have to check my decisions with should I Should I have played bishop d6 or back my bishop up? I think it was the correct decision to develop in this at this point. Have the king on e7. It's a much more harmonious setup. And what could I have done different here? This will be another point to check out. Can I really maintain the dark square bishop? I'm not so sure about that because of the queen c1 to a3 idea. This really felt weird, d3. I think Stockfish would frown upon this move. I mean, well, actually, another thing, when I'm looking at a bit more, d3 is aimed at restricting this guy. Doing something more natural like this, then I have a target. Rook over to c8, and then here. If they could somehow get this in, then this would be quite a tough position to battle. Yeah, pretty interesting game. Let me, before I check it out with Stockfish, actually give me a moment here and bring it up. Okay, there we go. I still don't want to look at it just yet with the computer. I just had to reload the game there. But this position is really interesting right around here. I wonder how to really go forward with developing a plan, because this is certainly the type of position it is. It's like how to get your pieces functioning well. This pawn has a nice grip over the queen side. There's really nothing going on, I don't think, for white on the queen side because of this guy. And so the attention is shifting over towards the king side, where I amazingly lost my bishop. I mean, how much more powerful would this position have been if I'm still playing with this guy? I know there was some cost connected with hunting down my bishop. I had play on the G file, and they created some weaknesses on the G file by moving this H pawn down. But wow, could I have better controlled the king side is what I'm wondering. Because I have control over the queen side. If I could control the king side of the board, then I have good control over the position, and it could slowly improve. But how could I get it to a point in the game where I have that ability to slowly improve? I'll be interested to see what the computer suggests around this point, because I really couldn't come up with something. Maybe I should have considered e5 much sooner. Instead of with this natural move, maybe an idea connected with e5, and then somehow getting a knight in here real quick, although at the moment it's not a reliable home. Yeah, maybe I could have gone in this direction. Maybe this idea, actually. E5 and G5. But one thing I can say is that I would be I would certainly be fearful about playing G4 with this rook still in his home square. So only after castle, maybe G5. Yeah, maybe this is something I could have gone for. G5. And then, yeah, I mean, this seems like a nice idea. I have a grip over this square. This is still not hitting. And then here, and then look to reposition my knight somewhere. Yeah, I think that this would have been better. Bishop move, a knight move, maybe even f6, then my bishop could come over here. In case things open up over on the queen side, I think that this would have been better. Not just because it's a locked position, and that's usually a good strategy against the computer, but just an objectively good decision, a good plan. G5 and E5 instead of going with this. The timing became an issue, I'm pretty sure, because after this move and castle, if I play E5 now, no, F4 doesn't hit just yet, but I think this move and then F4 can hit, because on takes there's this fork, and after here I'm getting pinned. So the timing was not quite right because I played this very natural move, rook to c8. That's my thought, at least. I don't have time now for this and this to stop the f4 break. Okay, well, let's confirm things with the Stockfish. There's a few interesting things to really check out with this one. Okay, let us see where there's an improvement. Knight c3, a3, knight here. Doesn't like that because of what I did in the game, knight b to d7. Okay. Yeah, I already have to be concerned. This is what I was pointing out, this natural move. Bishop e5, in fact. What I suspected in here is just getting killed, I think, because of knight b to d4. Knight is hit. Bishop's hit. If I save him, there's even an in-between check, but this is the thing I didn't like with at least this move. And it's just a wreck over here on the queen side. So I already have to be pretty careful with c7. In doing this, there's bishop takes knight at least. And I really don't want to take like this. I know they've invested the bishop pair. But yeah, I really wanted to steer clear of that. So we went for this imbalance. Knight b to d4. And if I back my bishop up, it wants to go bishop g4. Bishop b5 check. It appears to be okay with this, but yeah, this is very difficult to play. Kingside development, bit tricky. So yeah, I wanted to have this position, but with my bishop right here. So I went for that. Bishop d6. Yeah, it doesn't like going in for the sacrifice. In Computer Impossible's eyes, it's good to give up the two minor pieces for a rook and two pawns. But the big question will remain, can you open up files to get activity for the rooks? See, it likes black here, even though black is down material. Minor pieces are strong. Bishop g6. I went for g4. And bishop c5. It wants to hang on to the bishop. This is what concerned me. Oh, I didn't consider this in-between move, queen c6. I just have it in my mind that if I move off this diagonal, queen c1, and yeah, sure enough, well, even now queen d2, now that the d pawn is moved, but this idea of getting on this diagonal and the knight jumping in here is quite a bother. It'd be a different story if my rook was already on the c-file, and then maybe I could just go here, but it's quite uncomfortable to have the knight and queen, the white queen and the knight coordinated on the d6 square. So I played here. Doesn't seem to have a problem with that. Still a slight pull for black. Likes queen c5 and now d4. Okay, so at least that pawn being anchored there is fine. It's okay with rook to c8 here. But let me look a bit closer at e5. Let's say castle. And would g5 be an idea? Yeah, a lot of different ideas. The evaluation, I don't know how beneficial it will really be to pay too much attention to that. But I think, yeah, having a nice grip over f4 is good. Queen d2, preparing to maybe eliminate the c-pawn, now rook c8. g4, I'd be happy to see g4. Now h4. Ooh. Okay, maybe this is too fast. I was talking about h4 happening when the rook was still in the home square, but I guess here it's still hitting. And then I have to deal with the opening up of the h-file. As it has even, I wouldn't be so fearful of this h4 move if my knight was in a little bit of a better position, like e6. This is a dream square right now for a knight. Defends g5, looks to jump into f5 or f4. So maybe with a little bit more preparation, I could be getting in g5. And maybe it's wise to hold off on this move because it is very committal. So I think this is a moment where I could do a little bit more prep work. And by that I mean improving my pieces first and only then make the committal moves later. Okay, so rook c8. Knight d7 first. Okay, I did do knight d7. Queen d2. It likes e5. I play queen c5, and I'm going astray here. I was maybe in a way playing hope chess. Queen c3. Hopefully we exchange queens. But maybe I do better to keep the queens on the board. Not sure. Rook there. likes f6 here. Yeah, this is where I couldn't quite figure out how to construct my kingside pawns. f6, baby step. An avenue for the bishop. Look to reposition him. And on f4, it's not so quick. It's not so easily seen how white opens up the position. Any pawn advance can be met with a pawn advance of my own, keeping it locked. Okay, so f6 instead of this. Yeah, I'm going astray here with queen c3. Bishop back, f4. Did it like bishop h7? Oh, king f8. King f8 or bishop h7, I think it popped up. Okay. King f8, still holding even. e5. f6. Knight takes. I did not want to do that. But maybe it's alright. Takes. I didn't want to give this up, but I guess knight g4. Not quite, because of queen here. And the knight is hit, and so too is f7, threatening mate. And knight here, it just gets kicked. So I'm not quite there to, let's say, get the knight into this square. Be a much different situation if I could manage that, but the timing is just not there. Did not want to give up the e5 pawn. And I didn't realize the pressure. I did not see it at all that my bishop was in trouble with them grabbing my h-pawn and then throwing their h-pawn at me. But what about this final position coming up here? Yeah, I was really sweating here. I was really thinking I'm lost, but yeah, I came up with something. Some play against their king. Tough position to assess here, huh? It likes white by +2, and white wasn't converting this. h5? Let's go with bishop takes e4. Like queen g4? Wow, +3 white was at one point. And then this slipped away, huh? That's really surprising. Okay, king f8. And now their queen is going astray. She's needed for defense. Rook e to f1 is better. With then queen h5, rook f3. Yeah, I think she needs to stay over here. The computer was going for more material. Huh, that's really neat to see a game like this where computer has such an advantage. I mean, +3. I mean, I imagine it's just going to keep climbing with some time here, but okay, doesn't like the queen going in this direction. Now already of knight f8. Was I ever winning at this point? Knight e6. Now I am winning. Oh man. Queen g3. I'm at -3. Would I play rook there and now it's a draw? It's back to a win with g3 here. Let's look at this position. It likes queen h5. +4. Here threatens mate. And also frees up my knight to move. Yeah, it's as if in this position, surprisingly enough, even though there's these two connected passed pawns, they're far off. It's like I'm playing with, let's count them, 9, 5, and 3. How much is that? Okay, we got 17 points. It's like viewing this position where I have 17 attacking pieces, or 17 attacking points versus 10. This queen is not even playing. She's out of play. Wow, these two pawns seal her off. This rook has a nice defensive duty, defending the f-pawn. And multi-purpose piece here, defensive and aggressive. But on queen h5, rook g2, now knight g5. Queen f5, and I guess I have check, and then knight h3, and I'm getting one of the rooks. The king cannot move and still be defending both of these rooks. Has to give up the queen. Oh, man. I wonder in this position how I could have done better. I know I was pressed for time as usual, But, you know, when I saw this pin here, I mean, what did I do? I played rook h3, which is still winning. Huh, this is still winning. But, yeah, I saw my knight couldn't move. Why wasn't I much quicker to get out of this pin, which would then allow my knight to contribute? Also, I was focused a bit too much, I think, on playing into f4. The g5 square is excellent as well. Wow. So white was winning, a +3 advantage, and now I'm winning with what's close to a 3-pawn advantage now. Taking, however, is going to be a draw, and I think this is an assessment that won't change from here. They have to go for a perpetual, and then I ended up getting a perpetual, but what was still the win right here with the move I played? Rook h3 was still fine right here. Rook g2, what could I have done better? Queen f3, huh? What's the deal with that? Oh, this is at least permitting knight f4 to hit. No, it's not. No, it's not. What am I talking about? Pawn takes with check. So what's the idea? Rook e to e2? Some kind of finesse here with inconveniencing the rook and then rook to h1 stuff. I wonder about queen h5 immediately. Allows the king to play here, so there's some difference, the rook being on this square, e2 instead of e1. So queen f3, rook here, and now what would happen if on king f2? Now knight g5. And then once again it's suggesting to give up the queen. What about here? Oh, this is tough to see. Rook h1, and now there's this threatened. Wow. Amazing. This was a really interesting game. Not too many games like this that I've played against the computer where it had that kind of a shift with the evaluation, but you could certainly see how the computer is deficient in a way with coming out in this direction, not sensing the danger, coming out in this direction here, going pawn hunting, looking to get this guy rolling once the a-pawn is taken out, but not seeing deep enough this idea of the knight really being of equal or greater value than, let's say, a rook when he's on this square in close proximity to the white king position. It's yeah, a really interesting game. Okay, well, anyhow, as usual, feel free to leave any feedback on this one. I really enjoyed playing this game, and hope you got a thing or two from it. Feel free to leave any feedback in the comment section below, and I'll catch you in the next one. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.